Okay, the next book that I read in 2024 is called Relative Strangers. It's by A.H. Kim. This book actually came out last April. So yeah, I read this, started it in the summer, finished it around Thanksgiving time because we had a really great fall in Michigan. Like October was just amazing. Like we just had like a longer fall, which is very rare in the Midwest. So I just was like not in the mood to read at all in the summertime or the fall. So I really like did a lot of my reading in the winter months. So like November, December, January, and February, and a little bit of March. Not necessarily November, because December is when winter starts. Anyways, so I read this book called Relative Strangers. It's an author from Michigan. And so I was just like, okay, this looks like a good book. It's about these sisters, these two sisters and their mother. So they're half Asian, half American, or half white, I guess. And the dad, the mom's a widow. And so they have two daughters. And so she was going to lose their big estate. So the older sister, Eleanor, it's Eleanor and Amelia. Eleanor, she's like I think she's a doctor. She's some type of doctor. And she would volunteer at a retreat because she's also a widow. Her husband died of some type of illness. So there is a cancer retreat center that they used to go to, or at least he used to go to. And so she knew some of the people there that like owned it and ran the retreat center. So with her mom losing the house and her sister, Amelia, who's kind of like the main character, you kind of see it through her eyes, she is on this quest of like finding herself. She's like in her mid-30s. Her sister's probably around 40 or early 40s. And she ends up at like a Buddhist monastery. Buddhist monastery. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that. But she ends up at this like Buddhist place and she ends up shaving her head. So she's bald and she has like no money in her bank account. She doesn't even have a cell phone. So she only like checks her email and she's just kind of, I don't want to say like hitchhiking, but she kind of like hitchhikes. And she gets like her sister's email about like mom losing the house. And so gonna take her to Arcadia, which is where this cancer retreat center is. And they're gonna stay at her friend's like cottage that is there, or the master house. They have different terms or whatever. And so she ends up going there. So the three of them end up going there. And Eleanor, the older daughter, she has a daughter who's like 17. So it kind of takes off in the summertime. So her daughter ends up going, I think she ends up going to this camp, or she's going, like some type of camp. And so she's kind of not there in the summertime as the other two daughters and the mom is. So it's basically, I didn't really read Jane Austen or Jane Eyre or Charlotte, any of the Bronte sisters. I didn't read any of that stuff growing up, but in terms of like reviews and the synopsis of the book, if you're into like the sisterly women thing, kind of like Little Women, or I don't know, The Importance of Being Earnest was like the first thing that came to my mind for some odd reason. But you're ever into that, like the older style of like women writing. I think they compare it to like Sense and Sensibility, which I have not read, so I don't really know what to say on that. Then you would like this book. Like it was really funny. Like it reminded me of Important Being Earnest, because there's just so many like twists and turns in it, and you're just like, who's gonna end up with who? Like the sisters, are they gonna end up with the same guy? Or are they gonna be with the same guy? Like what's the mom gonna do? Who knows what the mom's gonna do? Like it gets wild in the last 100 pages of the book, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening. But like the ending was pretty like I was pretty satisfied with the ending. I just like didn't even know how it was gonna get there. And then, like, I feel like it kind of, like, ended up all working out at the end. But, like, there are some wild twists and turns in this in this book. And it does kind of give you that, like, older, like classical literature feel to it. And it's, like, just, like, a great, like, journey book. And I don't know much about California. I've never been to California. So it's set in, like, mid-upper, or northern California. So they talk about, like, going down to the bay, and they talk about like the scenery and the things like that. So I that was kind of cool to like try to envision kind of like Northern California and like what it looks like. And so yeah, it was a really good book. So if you're into like anything like classical like that, like I said, Jane Austen or the Bronte sisters, I would say definitely check this one out because it's a great book.